Alright. Let's see if we can't find the stream. Hopefully it isn't too far away and hopefully everything is working as it should be. Let's see here. Race Spec Esports. There's the stream right there. That's a Twitch ad. I can't skip that, but I did hear the game audio and I did briefly hear myself, so I think everything should be working as it should be. Good old Twitch ads, 30 seconds long, completely unskippable, and you can't do a thing about it. Isn't that great? Now we should be getting pretty close to the ready up signal from Plebs. Hopefully that doesn't take too long. I'll just double check the audio. Yeah, audio is working as it should, so that's good. Very nice to see. Yeah, hopefully this doesn't take the 10 minutes it did last week. Hopefully. It shouldn't. I think we should have everybody in the lobby. I checked the attendance. I think we were only meant to have 17. An extra two drivers have been able to join us. Okay, so Crichton Racing and Darren 11 Racing as well. Okay, that's the extra two. Interesting, because yeah, I'm pretty certain these two weren't included in the check-in, but that's okay. That's fine. 19 car field, very healthy size for tonight. So hopefully we get to see some exciting racing. Out on track. Now the drill, when the screen cuts to black, I'll start the intro and we can get this stream underway. So, hello everyone and welcome to round 4 of the Pacific Tier 1 Championship here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event, and tonight we'll be racing at Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez for the Mexican Grand Prix. Located within Mexico City at a whopping 2,238 meters above sea level, Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez was constructed in 1959 and has been hosting Formula One Grand Prix since 1962. 30 years later, in 1992, the circuit would disappear from the calendar and wouldn't reappear again until 2015, with the circuit redesigned into its 4.3 kilometer 17-turn layout. The track consists of 2 very long straights and 3 long DRS zones that lead into the prime overtaking spots of Turn 1, Turn 4 and Turn 12. It also consists of what I believe is the most difficult S section on the whole schedule. The section is formed by Turn 7 through 11. Every corner is high speed with the car right on the edge of grip. The optimal racing line through this section will force drivers to get close with track limits, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a fair few time penalties being dished out during the race. Finally, there's a tight, twisty arena section that usually creates chaotic bottlenecks for the drivers to deal with during safety car restarts. Ultimately, the car needs to be nimble enough to rotate around the slow corners within the final and first sectors, but it also needs to be stable enough to traverse the fast corners in the middle sector and have as little aero as possible so you can fly down the long straightaways. As you could probably tell, the setups are a bit of a nightmare here in Mexico. Now, before we focus on qualifying here, there is a bit of news to go through first from last week's race in Portugal. Only a single incident report that we actually caught on stream between Big Al and Destiol, with Destiol rear-ended Big Al at turn 1 at Portimao, sent him spinning. And the verdict from the stewards was a 5-second time penalty and 1 penalty point to Destiol. But even with the time penalties applied, Destiol wouldn't change his final finishing position. He would remain the winner of the Portuguese Grand Prix, and that also means get up and down the field for that race. The final results remain completely unchanged. In the Drivers' Championship, Seb, who is PTR for today's race, he's leading the championship on 61 points, followed by his teammate GeForce Leo on 52. Ferrari Pro is next on 43, followed by Ryan Bell on 39, and Big Al rounds out the top 5 on 38 as T-Mac has left the session. Man, T-Mac, you've been struggling big time with connection here. Oh man, hopefully you'll be able to connect for a while in qualifying, and hopefully you don't drop out during the race. Hello ACW, nice to see you in the chat. Destiol and GeForce Crichton hold P6 and 7, both of them on 30 points. Next is Plevs on 29, Spicy on 23, and GeForce Wogboy rounds out the top 10 on 22. In the Constructors, Red Bull are leading massively. They're on 113 points, with Ferrari next on 59. Yeah, it's a whopping margin, and you do expect that, as Seb and Leo are first and second in the Drivers' Championship. Next is Mercedes-AMG on 52, followed by Haas on 50. They had a huge resurgence after Portugal. They're currently fourth in the Constructors' Championship. Fifth is Alpine on 49 points, followed by AlphaTauri on 46, and Alfa Romeo on 42. McLaren are 8th on 25, with the bottom two places being occupied by Aston Martin and Williams respectively. Both of them are on 18 points. But that's pretty much it in terms of news. A 14.9 is your guess, ACW. Let's find out. We got to remember as well, these aren't optimal conditions for qualifying, because this round of the championship is the first sprint round of the championship. We'll have two races here. We'll have qualifying, an 18-minute qualifying session. Then we'll move into a 12-lap sprint, which will dictate the starting order into the main 36-lap event. Now, because of the way this is staged, it means that here in qualifying, track conditions aren't as optimal compared to a regular round. And that's because of a real-life thing in Formula One. Because qualifying takes place on Friday rather than a Saturday, it means there's less rubber being laid down on the track. So the drivers won't have the most optimal amount of grip, as Destiol jumps up to the top with a 15.4. So drivers do need to be slightly aware of that. Time trial conditions compared to the conditions here in a sprint round qualifying is going to be vastly, vastly different. But these guys, they're right at the top of their game. Gee whiz. And Plevs almost topped himself into the barrier there. Gee, he was very, very close. GeForce 4 jumps to the top. He's just beaten Destiol by 0.006 of a second. Plevs will cross the line to set a 16 flat, 9th fastest. He won't be too happy with the lap, I'm sure. Darren 11 making his way through the S's. DRS open and down towards the arena section. Into turn 12. Hard on the brakes here. Down to 4th gear. Back on the accelerator. And into the arena section. Down to 2nd gear. Short shifts up to 3rd gear. Coming out of the arena now as Spicy jumps up to P3 with a 15.6. How will Darren fare as he makes his way out of the final corner? He jumps up to P6 with a 15.911. Ryan Bell on a flying lap, apparently purple according to the middle sector. We'll see how he fares throughout the rest of the lap. Yellow flags are out. There's a stop Williams on the circuit. Not quite sure who that might be. That might be Vision, might be Jin Bin. Well, Bell, he threw that lap away. Doesn't quite... Oh, careful. Oh, I don't know if the game will allow you to do that. Oh, it does. Interesting. Thought it might reset him back onto the racetrack due to the fact he actually passed the pit lane there, but no, it puts him back in. Fair enough. Big Al getting ready to set a flying lap. Might ride on board with the Alfa Romeo driver. Give you a guided tour of this 4.3 kilometer 17 turn circuit. DRS open down the main straightaway. It's an incredibly long run to turn 1. In fact, it's the longest run to turn 1 on any circuit on the calendar. Hard on the brakes, down to 5th gear, 4th gear, through turn 1, through turn 2 and into turn 3. Important that you get a nice exit out of 3 so you can maximize top speed down this straightaway into turn 4. 8th gear, braking at the 100-meter board, bringing it down to 4th gear, clipping the apex well into the hairpin of turn 5, keeping it in 4th, nice and steady as he heads around the hairpin of turn 6, clipping both apexes there at the hairpin. He makes his way down towards the S's now. Turns 7, 8, into the left-hander of 9. 6th gear, modulating the throttle well. Into 10, around turn 11, flat out through the final left-hander. DRS open, and up towards the final sector now, the arena section, down to 5th gear. Tidy run through 12 into 13 now, 3rd gear, back on the accelerator, 4th gear, through 14, 15, and into turn 16, 4th gear. Half throttle, eventually reaches full throttle around the final corner, up towards the line. Well, that's provisional pole position for Big Al. 1 minute 15.366. T-Mac making his way towards the first sector split, down towards turn 4, into turn 5, 3rd gear, gently reapplying the accelerator as he heads around turn 6, 3rd gear, short shifts up to 4th, eventually reaches full throttle. Into the S's now. Incredibly notorious, incredibly tricky corners through here. So very easy to make a mistake through this middle sector and throw away a lap, or even worse, throw yourself into a barrier. Down into turn 12, hard on the brakes, down to 4th gear, gently reapplying the throttle as he heads into the hairpin of 13. Turn 14 comes up, then turn 15, and into the final 2 corners, turn 16 and turn 17 to complete this lap. T-Mac will set a 16.1, 14th quickest. He is 8 tenths, just under 8 tenths of a second off his teammate Big Al. So Team Big Mac, pretty close in terms of time, but track position-wise, they're a fair ways apart. So hopefully T-Mac can find a little bit of time. He doesn't have to find much. As I said, 8 tenths separate him and his teammate. It really isn't much. And there are plenty of corners here, 17 corners. There's a lot of areas where you can get it slightly wrong. So I imagine you could find that time if you get the lap absolutely spot on. I believe that was Bait, a reserve driver for tonight, just jumped up to P5 with a 15.7. Ryan Bell heading down towards turn 1. Seeing a peak speed here of 334 kilometers an hour, bringing it all the way down to 118 at the apex of turn 1. Tidy out of 3, up towards the first sector split now. Crichton, meanwhile, just behind him, has also... Sorry, where is he? No, he's just completed a lap. Or rather, an invalidated lap, it seems. So that time will not count. Round the hairpin of turn 6, down towards the S's now. And he'll chuck it into the left-hander at turn 7. 6th gear, back on the accelerator. Through turn 8, into 9. Around the right-hander of 10, then the left of 11. Oh, and he spins! Oh, it really does show you how difficult that section is. Catches out even the very best drivers. It is not easy, not at all. G-Force Ford, currently P2, heading down towards turn 1. Peak speed, 333 kilometers an hour, 1 kilometer an hour slower than Ryan Bell. Around turn 2, into 3, 4th gear, short shifts to 5th. You'll open DRS and head down towards turn 4. Clock says to the first sector, he's up by 75 thousandths of a second. Destior, meanwhile, is up as well by 1/10 of a second to the middle sector. Destior will be looking to build on his result at Portugal after winning that event. He'll make his way around the final corner and up towards the line. 1 minute 15.165. He improves by just under 3/10 of a second as Big Al is getting himself ready for another run. PTR, that is Seb by the way, has just jumped up to P5 with a 15.6. As 40 has invalidated this flying lap, he has backed off. He'll let people through. One of which is Spicy, who is currently P4. He makes his way into the hairpin of turn 13. 3rd gear. Keeps it in 3rd through 14. 4th gear. As he heads into turns 16 and 17. The final 2 corners on the racetrack and up towards the line. 1 minute 15.469. He improves by 1 3/4 tenths of a second. He is 300ths off his G-Force compatriot, that is Ford. Big Al making his way through the first sector. Out of turn 3, he'll open DRS and head towards turn 4. 7th gear. 8th gear, climbing up and over 315 kilometers an hour. He improves by 17 thousandths to the first sector. Now, you're not expected to improve by much in the first sector. It's only 3 corners after all. Where you're going to find a fair chunk of time, though, is here in the middle sector and through the final sector. Through turn 7, through turn 8, into 9, before running over the camera at turn 9. Through 10 and into 11, 7th gear, using a healthy amount of curb. Second sector split says he's up still, but only by 0.03 of a second. If he wants to retake pole, he needs to find 2/10 through this final sector. Third gear, through turn 14, into 15, and around the final two corners of turn 16 and 17. Fourth gear, keeping it nice and narrow on the exit, up towards the line, and he actually lost time. He lost 100th in the final sector, 1 minute 15.346. 40, he was up to the middle sector, but he's invalidated this run. Spicy making his way into the pits as well. Got to remember, Kebab, as well, we're running sprint qualifying, not a regular qualifying session. Like, it's astonishing. There's a lot of things Codemasters leave out. But weirdly enough, they didn't leave out the real-life mechanic that qualifying on Friday provides a slower racetrack compared to qualifying on a Saturday. So there's a huge difference in terms of time. I was going to say, you can't get away with that at turn 3. I'd be quite shocked if you could get away with that at turn 3. Now, Crichton making his way up towards the first sector split. Yet to set a lap time, currently P19 on the board. It's not where you want to start in any race, let alone here at Mexico. It is difficult to make your way up through the field. Yeah, it is quite advanced for Codemasters, I completely agree. It's astonishing that they even thought that in something like that, because it's 100% true. But considering all the stuff that Cody's missed, like, they even dumped a red flag mechanic. They used to have that ages ago. It's definitely not in the game now. And I've been in a few accidents myself that definitely deserve a red flag. Couple of races over at Spa in particular. An invalidated lap for Crichton once again. He'll cross the line. What will he set? 15.5. That would have put him P5 on the board. So, yeah, I'm sure he's quite frustrated with himself right now of being unable to put the lap together. He's got time left, just about enough time left. Luke's currently even to the first sector. He didn't improve nor lose time, but he definitely improved to the middle sector. Yeah, the big one at Spa. The Belgian big one. There were two Belgian big ones, actually, I can remember. Right at the top of Radion, too. Yeah, you might be right, ACW. It might be a bit touch and go to get new tyres on. Luke will cross the line, jump up to P8, 15.813. Just a few hundredths off Bate, who was still in the pit lane, waiting for his next turn. Let's see here. We've got plenty of drivers on outlaps. Crichton, are you pushing Bate? Looks like it. No, he's destroyed his front wing. So, yeah, that's qualifying over for Crichton. He's going to make his way back into the pits. He'll run out of time, I'm afraid. At least I think he'll run out of time. Although, I suppose we'll find out. Destiel getting himself ready. Spicer getting himself ready. Who's the first to try and set a lap? Luke's going back in. Ferrari Pro has just started a flying lap, making his way into turn 1. Bit of traffic in front. There is Spicy, I believe, in the McLaren through turn 2 and around turn 3. Nice and tidy. He'll open DRS and head down towards turn 4. Hard on the brakes. At the 100-meter board, he's up by 64 thousandths to the first sector. Now, Vision is on a flying lap as well. He's just improved by a fair chunk to the first sector. He's found a 10th and a half. Not a bad effort at all. Find that sort of time in the first sector. His previous run through there mustn't have been pretty good. Through turn 10, through turn 11. He'll open DRS and head down towards turn 12. To the middle sector. Ferrari Pro is up by 73 thousandths of a second as T-Mac has once again left the session. Vision, meanwhile, is up by 2.5 tenths to the middle sector. He's going to challenge the top 10 here, I reckon, with that sort of lap time. Out of the penultimate corner for Ferrari Pro, around the final turn, up towards the line. It's P7 with a 15.721. And what about Vision here? He'll come around the final corner, up towards the line. He takes P7 with a 15.710. PTR getting himself ready. Spicy on a flying lap, heading down towards turn 1. 40 getting ready. Big Al getting ready. Destiel on a flying lap. Down towards the first sector split for the Haas driver. What does the clock say to the first sector? He has found time, 16 thousandths of a second. Big Al making his way around the final 2 corners. He'll head down the main straightaway very, very shortly. Around the hairpin of turn 6, 3rd gear. Gently reapplying the throttle, 4th gear, 5th gear, 6th gear. Keeping it in 6 around turn 7, around turn 8, into turn 9. Through the right-hander of 10, then the left of 11. He'll open DRS and head towards the middle sector split. Clock says he's found even more time. He's looking at a 14.9 if he can string this final sector together. Around the hairpin of turn 13. Through 14 into 15. Now turn 16, the penultimate corner. 1 turn remains. Turn 17. Up towards the line. It's a 14.962. Now, can anyone challenge that? Al is up by 64 thousandths. Ford is up by 0.2 of a second. But in order to challenge Pole, he needs to find essentially half a second. Spicy, his session is done. A 15.469 is the best he can do. Darren crosses the line to do a 15.5. He jumps up to P5. 40 comes around the final corner, crosses the line. It's P2. He found 3 3/4 of a second. Big Al, meanwhile, is up by 1/10.5. In order to get onto the front row, he needs to find time here. Leo jumps up to P3. Big Al can't improve. He lost time in the final sector. He stays P4. PTR, or Seb, goes back into the pits. Seems like Crichton will get 1 lap together, it would seem, as he heads around the final. Oh, he just backs out of it. Interesting. It looked like he was going to get 1 lap together. He's going to start from P18 on the grid. Not sure why he backed off. Bags Liddell make his way around the final corner, crosses the line. P16 for him. There we go. It's Destiel on pole by just over 1/10 of a second to G-Force Ford, followed by G-Force Leo. That's the top 3. $14.9, that's the pole position time. Destiel will start at the very front of the grid for the Mexican sprint race for this round of the championship. Next, we have G-Force Ford, followed by G-Force Leo, then Big Al, Spicy P5, Darren 11, P6, Highcart 7th, PTR in 8th, Plebs 9th, and Vision rounds out the top 10. F1 Ferrari Pro P11, followed by Bait in 12th, Cy Luke in 13th, Huey 14th, T-Mac 15th, Bags Liddell 16th, Jinbin 17th, Crichton 18th, Ryan Bell will start from the very back of the grid in 19th position. There's some pretty quick drivers at the back. It'll be interesting to see how they fare, making their way up through the field. It's a fair reminder as well, heading into this sprint race. Top 10 score points. It's not top 8 like in real life, top 10 score points. And the points go down from 10, 9, 8, all the way down to 1. So there are plenty of points up for grabs heading into this race. So you can fight for something, but the main thing you got to worry about is just trying to gain a little bit of track position heading into the main race. Because obviously some extra track position doesn't hurt. Start further up towards the front of the field. It's always a bit nicer. It is quite dim. Once again, it was very similar in the Elite Series. There wasn't a great deal of light around the racetrack, so we're well and truly in the afternoon, coming towards the evening here in Mexico. And Jinbin has left the session. Hopefully he can rejoin as soon as possible, though I don't think he'll be able to take control of his car during the formation lap. So yeah, Jinbin might be a bit screwed at the start. I should mention as well, usually I have a colleague in here. GeForce Pato is off doing Tier 3 comms. That's very, very nice of him. Hopefully we'll get him back as soon as possible. But he's fulfilling commentary duties, and I'm going to be here by myself, with chat, of course. Can't forget about chat. Now, everyone should be starting on mediums. Yeah, okay, so that was a given. I mean, I saw in the Elite Series a couple of drivers tried to start on the soft compound tyre, and although it is effective for about 8 laps or so, after that point the pace disappears completely. So you pretty much got to limit yourself to the medium compound tyres. T-Mac has left the section as well. Man, a couple of drivers, especially T-Mac. T-Mac all season's been really struggling. Hopefully his issues get resolved at some point, because I'm sure that is more than incredibly frustrating to deal with. Bestial's taking off well in front of the field. He's trying to get his tyres nice and warm. Interesting to see how everyone else will fare as well. Everyone's on the same strategy, so it's going to be a straight up dogfight between all 19 drivers. There's no strategy at play here. There's no games or gimmicks really that you can play, except for a few DRS games. And that's because of a key factor around this circuit. There isn't a DRS detection zone between the first DRS zone down the main straightaway and the second DRS zone after turn 3. So if you get DRS here down the main straight, you'll also get it down the following straightaway after turn 3. It's quite overpowered. And that's because of a real life thing that isn't simulated in the game. As I mentioned in the intro, this track is sitting 2.2 kilometers above sea level. There isn't much air around here. So DRS isn't really effective because there's not much drag to begin with. So they give the drivers 2 long DRS zones to try and make moves. And it usually works. But here in the game, the atmosphere is the same around all racetracks. So DRS around here in Mexico is ridiculous. You really, really do need it. All 19 cars are lined up, ready to... Oh, no, we don't. Oh, yeah. A couple of cars took off for some reason. Rightio, everyone's set and ready. We got 12 laps in front of us and 5 red lights. And we're underway here in a sprint. It's a slow start for the front, too. It's a nice start from Big Al, though. He's got a nice slipstream. He's going to challenge Destiel down towards turn 1. The field spreads out, running all over the racetrack, trying to find some room to race on. Big Al round the outside. It's tight at turn 1. Al will have the inside line at turn 2 and gets in front. He takes the lead out of the opening chicane. Yellows are out. It's G-Force Leo. He jumps all the way down to last after an incident through turn 2. Into turn 4. Destiel applying pressure, looking around the outside. Oh, can't force it down the inside, though, at turn 5. Might have a go here at 6. No, he won't. He'll stay behind. Plebs and Bay battling for position. Generally speaking, it's been pretty tame at the front, minus what happened to Leo. All the way down to 19th after all that hard work during qualifying. It seems that Plebs has won his battle against Bait, I should say. Oh, Vision running wide. He was battling side by side with Ferrari Pro, and that battle is still ongoing as they go into turn 12. Vision down the inside, forces Ferrari Pro wide. Here comes Huey and Ryan Bell, who's made up a chunk of places. Same with Crichton. 2 by 2 they go through the arena section and around the penultimate corner they go. Around turn 16, around turn 17, and back onto the main straightaway. So, had plenty of shuffling. Ryan Bell up 7 positions. Crichton up 4. Bait up 3. Big Al up 3. What a start from the Alfa Romeo driver. Absolutely stormed off the line. Fantastic stuff. Around turn 1. Look at this tight. Oh, bit of nose to tail stuff through turn 1 there. Fortunately, they all got through pretty unscathed. Back towards the front, shall we? Alright. 4 tenths separating the top 2. Destiel can play a calm game here. He doesn't have to overtake Big Al as soon as possible. He can just wait until lap 3 and allow DRS to be enabled. It'll make his job about 1,000,000 times easier. He can just get through the opening lap, save the tyre a little bit, not push on it too hard, then attack later on. Because Big Al, considering the pace of Tier 1, I don't think Big Al's going to pull away. Midfield pack is still tightly, but oh, contact again! Destiel once again spinning round Big Al, and Ford takes the lead. Big Al, to rub some extra salt into the wound, gets a 5-second time penalty for corner cutting. Oh, dearie me. It happened at turn 1 at Portugal. It's happened again at 13. And once again, Big Al has got the short end of the stick. And there's no way he's going to get that time penalty removed. Ready for the start of the next race. He's going to be starting a fair way down. Ouch. He's going to try and keep fighting here. Looking around the outside of high cut. Here at turn 4. Looking down the inside at 5. They're giving each other just enough room. I say just. Around the hairpin of turn 6. High cut's not giving up. And why should he? It's only a 12-lap race. But eventually he has to give in. You can't go too wide into the S's. There's just no way. A wiggle from high cut there. Another wiggle. A catch. A great catch. And that's put Darren right on the back of him. PTR just behind. Same with Plebs and Bate as they head down towards turn 12. Darren looking but can't fully commit to the move. He must stay behind. Yellows are out. Oh, and it's Plebs spinning. At turn 12. Gets pointed back in the right direction. We've got a lot of shuffling going on through the arena section. Oh, Ferrari Pro has had a moment. Oh, dearie me. And he's broken his front wing as well. He's missing an end plate. Changing position between Huey and Bate. Heading out to the final corner and down the main straightaway. Slotted within the slipstream, heading down towards turn 1. Huey closing in. Bate closing in. We might see a send here. Yeah, we do. Oh, Huey can't fully commit down the inside. Vision broke very late there into turn 1. He was able to hang on to P10. Meanwhile, bit of change of position here. Darren 11 and PTR battling for P5, heading through turn 4 into 5. There's high cut just behind. Ryan Bell, what a race he has had so far. We're 4 laps in. He's made up 11 spots. Crichton, an equally worthy effort as well, up 9 spots from P18. So those two drivers have clawed their way through. That doesn't help though. Crichton, a 3-second time penalty. Yeah, lost the first challenge indeed, ACW. See how it fares. Back towards the front. Ford leads, Destiel in second, Spicy third. Spicy needs to stay within that 1 second range. Or we had an incident, Huey. Rejoin was interesting. He had an incident just before turn 13. Here comes Destiel, looking around the outside. Here at turn 1. 40 sends it in deep. Destiel has the inside line at turn 2. 40 in turn will have the inside line in 3. And he keeps the lead. Not the best of exits out of turn 3 for Destiel either. He hasn't got the momentum heading towards turn 4. He's close, but not close enough. And now Spicy's on the back of this. We've got a 3-car fight at the front. And 2 seconds back, just under 2 seconds back, is Big Al in 4th place. With a 5-second time penalty hanging over his head. So, with that 5-second time penalty, that will affect him in the main race. But he could try and get that removed post-race. So that way he can finish at least as high as possible in the sprint and gather as many points as possible. So he's going to lose out, unfortunately, thanks to the time penalty, as Ford gives himself the time penalty. That's 3 seconds, I believe. Yes, it is. Ouch. Really do not need time penalties in a race as tight as this. And there's another one. It's high cut. But this isn't surprising, though, is it? This is Mexico in a nutshell. This is what you see around here at Hermanos Rodríguez. To the inside goes Destiel. Ford can't fight that. Destiel takes the lead. Ford, he moves down to second. PTR moving by Darren 11. That is for P5. So Seb putting himself back into the top 5. He's looking at decent points here in the sprint. And he's looking at a decent starting position in the main race. Darren can't fight back. No DRS assistance whatsoever. So he can't counter-attack into turn 4. T-Mac has overtaken Bags Liddell. That is for P14. High cut. Right in front of his teammate Ryan Bell. Crichton just behind. Ferrari Pro sets a new fastest lap. Leo's on the back of Bate, heading towards the S's now. Leo can't do much through here. You just have to follow the car in front and try and not lose time. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's all over the back of the Mercedes. 3 seconds for vision. DRS open on the Red Bull. Draws alongside, gets the nose in front. And with the inside line, Leo moves himself into 12th. But it might leave it... Oh, a moment there from T-Mac. Huge slide out of 12. Gathered it up well, though. The Bate, he could try and counter-attack here. Leo will not have DRS down the main straightaway. Speaking of DRS, here comes Ryan Bell on his teammate. Oh, there he is. There is High Cut, just letting Bell by. Bell, that was a very, very kind thing there, delivered by his teammate. But it makes sense. He's got a 3-second time penalty. Why battle your teammate with a time penalty? Just let him through. Crichton, can he find a way by? No is the answer. Stays behind in P9. Back to this, I suppose. This is the closest battle we got anywhere. Like, the top three are still relatively close. Contact between Bate and T-Mac as I interrupt myself. Heading around turn 6. Down towards the S's now. Look at that. 4 cars, nose to tail, heading into the S's. All the cars behind having to deal with dirty air as Bags Liddell gets a 3-second time penalty. Out of turn 11. Down towards 12. T-Mac, can he attack? No, I think it's the answer. Not quite close enough. High Cut, another 3-second time penalty. He now has 6 next to his name. They bunch up through the arena section. Heading out of it now and around the final 2 corners. T-Mac should be able to attack here down the main straightaway. So I believe he should. 40 closing in, but not by enough. I'll keep an eye on that interval, though. Here comes T-Mac. Draws alongside and gets in front. So P13 on track. I don't think he's going to hold it, though. Plebs attacking on Bags Liddell, too. Down the inside at turn 1. He takes Bags side-by-side action here. Oh, there was contact. You could hear it. A slight thud. Here comes Plebs. He's got momentum. But look at the straight line speed Bate has in that Mercedes. Without DRS, he was still keeping up with T-Mac. Around turn 5, it is tight. It is very tight. Around the hairpin at turn 6, they're still side by side. T-Mac has got the advantage, and he will keep P13 for now. Battle on back here as well. They're not point scoring places, but they're putting on a show. So we'll give us some screen time. Out of turn 11, down towards 12. Huey closing in. Oh, and is that Bate moving across? It is. Lets Plebs through. Now Bags is on the back of him. Oh, in contact and spinning round goes Bate. An almost carbon copy incident that we saw from Destiel and Big Al. Oh, and a spin for Huey too. He's round. Oh dear. Some incidents in the sprint. Plenty of drama to see. Destiel leading the way. 6/10 in hand over GeForce Ford. Spicy in P3. 1.2 seconds back is Big Al. He's doing a mighty fine job. He's trying to build a margin to the cars behind. Try and minimise the damage. I reckon he'll be looking at a P7. Which is better than nothing. Bate a 3-second time penalty. There is Seb in the Red Bull PTR. We have Darren 11 and Ryan Bell. High Cut and GeForce Crichton behind. Sparks flying as they head over the curbs as Crichton now gets another 3-second time penalty. Now has 6 seconds next to his name. That means he and High Cut are going to be genuinely battling for position. Can Darren find a way by Seb? At the moment, the answer is no. Bit too far behind, and even with the incredibly long DRS zone down this main straightaway, Darren will not close in by enough. He won't gain 6/10. He'll gain maybe 3/10, maybe even 4. 4/10, 3.5, 3/10, maybe just under 3/10. Leo gets by Jinbin. That is for P11. That might be a point scoring position considering the penalties up here. So yeah, Leo might be on for a decent result. A couple of points don't hurt. Some extra track position in the main race definitely doesn't hurt. Through the middle sector. Seb still hanging on to 5th. Darren 11 in 6th. Unable to find a way by just yet. Rest of the gaps are pretty well spread out now. No one really in any sort of position to attack. This is the closest battle we have on track right now. Though Crichton has closed in on high cut. Not by enough to attack here though at turn 12. Around the hairpin, turn 13 I should say, through 14 and 15. Darren, he's closer this time. And he should pick up some extra slipstream as he's closer to the Red Bull this time around. He should gain a bit more time. Oh, and look at his battery. 50% he's got. He's got so much battery. Destiel and G-Force Ford battling for position. So 40 gets by into the lead. Crichton gets by high cut. That's for P8. Plebs overtakes T-Mac as well. That is for P13. Now, both drivers are pretty low in terms of battery, so high cut won't be able to counter-attack into turn 4. Around turn 6. Darren's got plenty of battery, can't say the same for Seb, so Darren can launch one huge attack on the final lap to try and get by. He just needs to make sure he doesn't make a mistake through this middle sector. He doesn't. Destiel, a 3-second time penalty. Oh my goodness. The top two have time penalties. Spicy's in the hot seat. No pun intended. Plebs a 3-second time penalty. Huey's down to last after a spin at the exit of turn 5. Alright, battle's on for second now. Destiel versus Ford. And Destiel's got the huge advantage. So much battery. 40 can't fight back. He's got no battery. And Destiel, he'll get DRS and some extra battery usage down the next straightaway. He should pull away. Or a moment between Darren and Seb there. Darren gets in front. And he'll dump the rest of his battery here. Yep, look at that. He'll dump the rest of it. He'll pull away from Seb. Build up a gap. He'll try and keep the Red Bull at bay. Bell down the inside. Huge send there. Contact between the two cars as they head around turn 5. Seb forces Bell wide. Bell contact at turn 6. It sends the AlphaTauri around. But he catches it well. And he stays in P7. Seb down the inside at turn 7. Takes that position away. Bell's down to 8th. Plenty of contact in this race. My goodness. So now Crichton's in P6, but with those time penalties, he's going to get demoted anyway. Bell, can he fight Seb here? I suppose we'll find out when they cross the line. Destiel will cross the line in first, but he will not hang on to it. It'll be Seb who wins the sprint race. Spicy Salami wins the sprint race here at Mexico. Destiel second, G-Force Ford in third. Darren finishes in fourth. Big Al fifth. That's a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. Look at Leo jumping up. He jumped up to 8th. My goodness. Seb finishes in P6. Bell 7th. Leo 8th. Crichton 9th. Jinbin will get 1 point for his efforts. P10 for him. Vision P11. High Cut 12th. Plebs 13th. T-Mac 14th. Luke 15th, Bags Liddell 16th, Bates 17th, then Ferrari Pro and Huey will be the last car to cross the line. What drama in such a short race here in Mexico. Plenty of contact. My word, there was plenty of contact. Ryan Bell, given driver of the day. Fair play. Started from the very back, he ends up finishing in 7th. That's not a bad effort at all. There we go. Spicy Salami wins the sprint here in Mexico. Oop, wrong button. Accidentally went to race director. Didn't mean to do that. Oh, come on. Why won't it let me exit this? It's just coming up with Blank. Ah, for goodness sake. Anyway, we'll get the sprint race results after the main race. At least there's a tab available so we can see it. Alright, main race time. That's such a silly glitch. Enter race director and it comes up with nothing. So silly. Anyway. Main race time. Here in Mexico. Some clouds about. It's clear. You can see plenty of blue sky, but must be said, there's some dark clouds around. Might see some rain, we might not. We'll wait and see. And we're taking a while to load into the session. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. There it is. Alrighty. Now, for the main race here, strategy is, well, it's as simple as every other racetrack. Medium hard, hard to medium. It's one or the other. Now, I did gather information back at Elite. The hards, according to the game, can do somewhere between 20 to 28 laps, which is a fair chunk of the race. Like, the race is 36 laps, so the hard tyres can last for an eternity. The mediums can last for a while as well, so you could start on either. Maybe those towards the front will be more inclined to start on the medium compound tyre, try and bolt away early. I suppose we'll see. Spicy isn't starting on mediums. Wow, a lot of people not starting on mediums. Only 3 are starting on the medium compound tyre. So, we'll run through the order as it was after the sprint. Spicy will line up on pole position for the main race here in Mexico. Destiel will line up alongside in second. GeForce Ford got third. You'll have Darren 11 lining up alongside him on the second row. Big Al, great recovery from him. P5 is where he'll start. And alongside him will be Seb, our championship leader in P6. Ryan Bell, P7, great recovery after what happened in qualifying. GeForce Leo jumped up massively thanks to no penalties in the sprint. He'll start P8. And all of those 8 drivers I've just mentioned, as you can see, are starting on the hard tyre. Crichton starting P9 on the mediums. He's the first driver starting on the mediums. Jinbin P10 starting on the hard tyre. His teammate starting behind him in P11. Highcut will start P12. Plevs P13. He's going quite slowly for whatever reason. T-Mac P14. Luke in the other Alpine is starting on the medium compound tyre. Bags Liddell is starting on the hards in P16. Bate P17 also starting on the hard tyre. F1 Ferrari Pro starting towards the back in 18th position is starting on the mediums. And Huey starting from the very back in 19th place is starting on the hards. 3 on the mediums, 16 on the hard tyre. And a grand total of none on the softs, as you'd expect. And that's a nice spin there from Seb. Getting some extra tyre temp. That's what he's doing there. Big Al missed his grid slot, so he's going to be pushed back a bit. Alrighty. Now, everyone in the top 8 is starting on the same tyre, so there shouldn't be much difference in terms of grip. Spicy will be starting on the cleaner side of the racetrack, so he should theoretically get a better start. But Destiel has the inside line to turn 1. And with it being such a long run to turn 1, those in the second row, Ford and Darren, they'll have a huge slipstream heading towards the opening corner. Oh, for goodness sake. What's going on? Everyone's lined up. Well, the host has left the session again, just like last week. That's a safety car. You hear that? Plebs has left. Well, we'll see whether or not this is legit. It's lights out and away we go for the main race here in Mexico. It's a great start from Destiel. Spicy moves all the way down to P3 after the... Oh, front wing. Oh, okay, we might be having a legitimate restart. Because that's a huge crash. Yeah, okay. We're having a lobby restart. Good to know. We're having a lobby restart. Alright. I'm going to quickly leave this lobby and wait patiently for an invite. But we got to see some carbon fiber confetti head down the main straightaway, which is, you know, it's a piece of art, really. Just seeing millions of euros just fly all over the place. Truly, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it seems that, yeah, we're gonna have to wait a bit. Well, these things happen, I suppose, folks. Just gotta wait. Had a gander at the McLaren. Oh, credit to Seb though, put together a pretty nice race. Coming home across the line in P3, I would have assumed he'd be pretty happy with that. But thanks to the time penalties of the two in front, yeah, I think he'd be very, very happy with the sprint race win. Good points for himself in McLaren. Yeah, okay, hang on. Doot. Gotta look at the friends list just briefly. Gotta scroll all the way down to where is Plevs. There is Plevs. Join a social race. Join group. Through PlayStation, we join the lobby through the friends list, rather than players having to send out invites to everybody. Because one of the really annoying things about the invite system in this game is that you can only invite people one at a time. And a really awkward thing about it is when you bring up the friends list, you invite someone, it removes the friends list. And you have to bring it back up again and invite someone, then it disappears, and you have to bring it back up again. And yeah, it's an awful cycle. But then again, with this, with crossplay, we're still very much in our infancy with this mode, so it is going to take a little while for Codemasters to smooth out the rough edges, so to speak, because there's still plenty of rough edges with this game. Dearie me. I'll keep an eye on the Discord, shall I? Guys are just chatting away in the Discord as they should. We just have to wait patiently and enjoy the theme. As much as I would like to have EA tracks, I just can't help but feel that the stream would get copyrighted to hell and back, so I'd rather not. And fortunately for us, getting towards the start of a new F1 season. We're not too far away now from the Bahrain Grand Prix. Be fascinating to see who's where in terms of pace during pre-season testing, though of course, as we all know, teams don't show all of their pace during pre-season testing. We know this, but still, it would be really, really cool to see the new cars out on track. See the new drivers as well. A few new full-timers in the grid. Piastri, De Vries, Sargent. So, new full-timers. I hope they get to perform well. Because as we know, Formula 1, it's a really brutal sport. Like, it doesn't tolerate drivers who are below the standard, and Formula One sets a pretty high standard. So now everyone will be joining very, very shortly. We're at 17 with 2 away. Then players will be able to properly select the track, which is Mexico, and he'll set a custom grid from the sprint race results we had earlier. So we just need to wait an extra 4 minutes, I'd say, somewhere around here. If you're watching this on YouTube, skip. Just spam the skip button until you see cars back on track again. Because, yeah, this will take us a little while. Oh, man. Hopefully this won't take too much longer. Hopefully. I'll quickly check the Discord again, see if there's any hold-ups. Hopefully there isn't. Probably will be. Well, it seems that Jinbin's having difficulty connecting. According to Plevs, Jinbin is appearing offline. Yikes. If that might be the case, we might be doing another lobby reset. Hope not, but we'll wait and see. Oh. Hopefully tomorrow, America series goes a tad bit smoother than this. We were looking pretty good up until that lobby glitch. There we go. Switched it to Mexico. Yeah, folks, if you're still watching, let's try and find something to do for a few minutes. I think Tier 2 and Tier 3 should be streaming A-OK over on YouTube right now. I'll go and check their streams. Should be streaming OK. There's Tier 3, there's Tier 4. So, yeah, there's still plenty of streams going on, which is good. Yeah, no. Good old homework. Always plenty of fun. Yeah, it appears that Tier 3 will be just ending their sprint. Any minute now has just won the sprint in Tier 3. Looking at Tier 2. Looks like they're going through a lobby reset too. So we're not the only ones. And there's 2 Tier 3 streams. Weird. Oh, there was a part 1 that got cut off. Okay, yeah, fine. That's a part 2. That's okay. Yeah, it seems like Tier 2 are going through the same thing. looking at Scotty's stream. Yeah. All having a bit of bad luck at the moment. Coming towards 9 o'clock now. My time, Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Should be well into the race by now, but just have to wait. And this will give me the opportunity to look at the custom weather. You can see the sun there, so it was meant to be clear for the race. So those dark clouds that we saw weren't going to do anything. So it's going to be dry all the way through. So who are we missing? We got 18. Who's missing? Luke. Luke's missing. That's strange. He hasn't said anything, I think. I guess we're readying up without Luke. Okay. Weird. And yeah, any drivers listening to the stream, don't forget your setup. With these lobby resets, it means that your setup is returned to default. Default, not fast. That is for sure. Alrighty then, race time. Hopefully. Cross our fingers. Big Al's made his tyre choices. Same with Bait, same with Plevs, same with Destial, Vision, Ford, Seb. Come on. Make your tyre choices already. Let's go. Don't need to debate with it yourself for like 30 seconds to decide what tyres. You've got 3 types to choose from. Usually going softer doesn't work out for you. You're better off going with balanced or with a harder compound set. Alrighty, main race time. Clear skies once again. Not a single cloud anywhere. It is all clear. Perfect conditions for racing. If only it were a more perfect racetrack. Because I can tell you this, folks. Hermanos Rodríguez. Noisy neighbor. Hermanos Rodríguez is not a perfect circuit by any stretch of the imagination. I know some people do enjoy this track, and, you know, that's fine. But there are so many areas around this place that are just, yeah, very, very, yeah. You got track limit warning, hot spots everywhere. You got the S section to deal with. You got this tight, twisty arena section. Got this high-speed approach into turn 1, which is very easy to overshoot. All these little things that add up to make a pretty annoying racetrack all around. Rightio. Any changes? Yep. Okie dokie. Someone isn't moving. That Crichton? It is Crichton. It's only just moving now. So, we had some people start on the mediums before. That's changed. Everyone's on the hards. All 18 drivers on the hard tyre. We did have 19 for the start of this. Luke is nowhere. I don't know where Luke is. He's just gone. So, to get rid of the tyre graphic, we don't need it. Don't need it at all. Everyone's on the same strat. We'll run through the order again. There's the predicted pit stop strategy. Lap 20 to 29, so they can last a while. Those hard tyres. The order. Spicy will start from pole position. Destiel will start alongside in second. GeForce 4 will start P3. Darren 11 alongside him in P4. Big Al will start P5. That was lag. Woof. PTR Seb here will start in P6. Ryan Bell 7th. GeForce Leo in 8th. Crichton 9th and Jinbin will round out the top 10. Vision will start P11. High Cut 12th as he spins out at turn 11. Plevs 13th. T-Mac 14th. Baxadell in 15th. Bait 16th. Ferrari Pro 17th and Huey will start from the very back of the grid in 18th position. As Spicy spins out at the final corner. It's a McLaren sandwich, the entire field, first and last. I'm unlucky, Luke. Unlucky. And fair enough. Hopefully you get to enjoy the show at the very least. All 18 cars are now lined up ready to run. Spicy on the cleaner side of the racetrack on pole position. Destiel, he has the inside line heading towards the opening right-hander. 36 laps in front of us. 5 red lights. And the main race is underway once again. It's a nice start from Spicy this time around. It's another mega start from Big Al as it's 3 wide heading towards turn 1. Big Al has the advantage. He's going to try and close in front of the leaders as they head towards turn 1. Al covers the inside. Oh, 40 tries to shoot through the middle. Destiel runs wide. It's 3 wide through turn 2. Destiel getting swamped down the order. 3 wide on the exit as Destiel's bumped wide by Seb and Crichton. Down the long straightaway to... Oh, and hard into the wall goes Huey. He's out of the race. A huge smash at turn 3. 3 wide action. It's a virtual safety car. Oh boy. What a chaotic start. Drama everywhere. Some huge sends at the front. Big Al got the best start out of anybody. 40... shot through the middle between Al and Destiel. Destiel was forced wide as a result. And from that, he was absolutely swamped. All the way down to P9 now, behind the 2 Red Bulls. Still yellow. There's the position changes. Big Al up 4. What a mega start once again. Ryan Bell up 3. Crichton up 3. Huey's left the session. T-Mac up 4. Bags Liddell up 3. Biggest losers, Destiel down 7. Vision down 6. Spicy down 4 from pole position. We'll end lap 1 under yellow flag conditions. And we'll begin lap 2. Virtual safety car is still operational. Waiting patiently for it to be shut off. Bit of weaving going on, trying to keep temperature in the hard compound tyre, which is very, very, very important. We're back on the green flag racing. T-Mac under pressure from Jinbin, who looks down the inside of turn 1. Leo gets by his teammate Seb for P7, or tight through turn 3, but T-Mac stays in front. That is P10 for him. Down towards turn 4. Look at this pack shuffling about the racetrack, trying to find a bit of tarmac to race on. Through turn 4, Jinbin hanging on. Bags Liddell with the inside line at 5. Heading down towards turn 6, Ryan Bell overtakes Darren 11. That was for P3. Bait and Ferrari Pro also battling for position. Jinbin will hang on to P11. Back towards the front. Big Al pulling away. He's got 9.5 tenths over Ford, who has got 1.2 seconds over Ryan Bell. Darren 11 in P4, half a second behind, followed by Spicy in the McLaren in 5th. Yellow's at, it's Bait spinning. That is at turn 11. He gets pointed back in the right direction, and from what I saw briefly there wasn't any front wing damage on the Mercedes. Around the final corner and back onto the main straightaway. Big Al leads, and he's got a comfortable margin already of 9 tenths over GeForce Ford, our defending drivers champion. Bags Liddell overtakes Ferrari Pro. That was for P13. With this top 10 pack here heading down towards turn 1. All pretty close to one another, but not quite close enough to try and challenge for position. We might have something here between Bags and Ferrari Pro. Ferrari Pro down the inside at turn 1. Bags has the inside line at turn 2. Ferrari Pro doesn't care and snags the inside line at turn 3. Bags runs wide. Vision's going to get involved. It's now a drag race towards turn 4. It's a drag race being won by the Ferrari. Oh, but Vision's got momentum too, looking around the outside here at turn 4. But he can't continue to fight around the outside, so he slots into P15, the final point-scoring spot in the main races. Destior with a chunk of work to do, in P9 right now, all over the back of PTR, who has sparks flying from underneath the Red Bull. Here comes the Haas, drawing alongside, looking round the long way here at turn 12, dives it in, he has the grip, he runs wide, but he has the inside line here at 13. Seb leaves the door wide enough open for Destior to move on through into 8th place. 40 sets a new fastest lap. That's beaten by Ryan Bell. Onto the main straightaway. Half a tenth separate these two. T-Mac just behind. Yellows are out. Vision's out. There he is there. He's gone head on into the wall. At the final corner, Spicy's overtaken Crichton. And Spicy gives back the position, though I think he can't do it. I think that's now genuinely Spicy's position. This is another virtual safety car period on lap 4 of 36. 2 cars out of the race already, and we're down to 16. Just need to be nice and patient during this period. Keep a firm eye on the Delta. You do not want to get a drive-through penalty for speeding. That will completely ruin your race. So all 16 drivers who are still in this need to keep their eyes on the Delta. We see them bunching up a bit, trying to manage the Delta well. And there we go, we're back on the green flag running. No penalty from anybody. Really good stuff. You kind of expect that here in Tier 1. Through turn 14 into 15 and around turn 16, the penultimate corner, and into the final turn, turn 17. Back onto the main straightaway. No one in any sort of position to attack just yet, although has Jin been close enough perhaps? Not quite. Bit too far behind, but look at the gaps, folks. Almost everyone within a second of one another, except for Darren 11, who is losing time to the 3 in front. I'm guessing he doesn't have DRS. No, he does. Maybe he just doesn't have a great deal of straight line speed. Although, looking at the interval, he's got plenty of straight line speed. So, I don't know why he magically lost 2 tenths at turn 1 for. Around the hairpin of turn 6. Double apex, right-hand hairpin. It's a very important corner. Got a short straight after it. Might not seem like much, but getting that apex spot on can find you a couple hundredths of a second in terms of lap time. Around turn 12, heading into the arena section. All of these guys pretty evenly spread out, sort of demonstrating how competitive, how tight this all is. How important track position is in Tier 1. And in order to fight at the front, you need to qualify at the front. There's no heroics in charging away back through. It's a bit too difficult to do. Ryan Bell did all he could, made up a ton of places in the sprint, but there was no way he was challenging the front runners. Ferrari Pro gets by Plevs. Bell didn't get a tidy run through that chicane section. I think he missed the apex at turn 1, if I remember from that camera angle. He's still very much within 1 second of G-Force Ford, who in turn is well within 1 second of Big Al, our race leader. Yeah, I reckon we're not going to see too much action here between these guys for a little while, at least. Everyone's a bit too far spread out to try and battle just yet. And why would you want to battle out anyway? It's lap 6 of 36. You've got a long, long way to go in this race. Battling now really doesn't mean anything unless you're towards the back and you need to try and make your way forward. If you're here towards the front of the field, be a bit conservative. Save the tyre. Oh, hello! Be a bit conservative and try and save the tyre. But this man Crichton, he's not exactly like that. Crichton isn't exactly the most patient dude in the world. He likes to get moves done. He likes to move forward. There's still DRS open, closing in on G-Force Leo. Down towards turn 1. He's close, looking to the inside here into 1. Dives it in. Leo fights around the long way. He'll have the inside line at turn 2. He's able to keep P7 at least for now. A bit of a wiggle though at the exit of 3. And here comes Destiel with all the traction in the world. At the exit of turn 3, he slithers on by and moves himself into P7. Yeah, that little wiggle from Leo really left himself vulnerable at the exit of turn 3. No way he was going to fight that. ERS, sure thing. Not much else going on, so we can have a look at telemetry. See Leo was 70%. Destiel, he's a bit lower, but that is expected. He just made a move, so he probably used a bit of battery. Spicy on 48% next to his name. Oh, Crichton spent a bit, but that's traditionally Crichton. He does spend a fair chunk of battery early on. Darren on 46. Ryan Bell just crept down to 35. 54 for Ford and 28 for Big Al. But again, that's expected. When you're out in front doing all the hard work, you're going to use up more energy. So that is expected. Here comes Destiel. Overtaking Spicy down the inside into turn 1. He gets in front. That is P6 now for the Haas driver. His next target will be G-Force Crichton. Behind Leo we have Seb, PTO. He's on 33%. T-Mac low on battery. He's in single figures on 8. High Cut also in single figures on 6 when I flicked over to him. Ferrari Pro not doing much better on 19%. Plevs on 17%. Bags doing okay on 40, but he is a fair way behind Plevs. Bait on 25. Engine Bin on a very healthy 81. So yeah, a lot of guys towards the front doing well to save battery, as Crichton not doing himself any favours there, getting a time penalty, 3 seconds added next to his name. Through the stadium section, through turn 13 into 14-15, out of the stadium section, and around turn 16 and 17, back onto the main straightaway. Big Al has pulled away a little bit. He's built up a 9/10 margin over G-Force Ford. Ryan Bell, as Destiel sets a new fastest lap with an 18.799, and he's closing in on Crichton. Not much that Crichton can do about it. No battery whatsoever, no DRS either. So he gets swamped by the Haas. Here comes Spicy and Leo battling into turn 1. Leo ran the long way, and he takes P7 with ease, entering turn 2. Spicy will move down to 8th, but he's going to try and counter. Slots in the slipstream. Will he send it? No. Stays behind. Around turn 4 into turn 5. Got a 4-car fight here for some of the lower scoring points places. Got T-Mac, High Cut, Ferrari Pro, Plevs, all in a train. All of them ready to scrap one another. That doesn't help Ferrari Pro. A 3-second time penalty. Oh, and why? That really doesn't help for T-Mac. Rejoins in front of Plevs, leaves room though, and goes behind. That's very courteous there. Very, very courteous. He could have gotten in front of Plevs and blocked him into turn 12, but he did the sportsman-like thing and gave up the position. And to be honest, it doesn't really hurt because you're still in the DRS train, which is the most important thing in these sort of situations. Here comes Leo and Crichton. Crichton with no pay. Oh, bait spun. Yeah, he spun at the final corner. He'll get going again. And he goes into pit lane. Big Al still leads, but this time by only 0.4 of a second to G-Force Ford, as Bate has retired from the session. Retirement number 3. We've gone down to 15 cars remaining in the event. Out to turn 6 and down towards the S's now. 6th gear, down to 5th. back up to 6th gear. Through turn 8 into 9. Into turns 10 and 11. You can see a considerable difference in the telemetry compared to when you compare a race lap around here and a qualifying lap. There's a huge difference by having a car with absolutely no fuel on the grippiest tyres compared to a car with all of the race fuel that you need and the grip of a hard tyre, which has very little. There was way more throttle modulation, and here comes Destiel on Darren 11. Destiel moves forward into 4th place now. His next target will be Ryan Bell. 40. Now 2/10 behind Big Al as they head through the chicane complex of turns 1, 2 and 3. On to the next straightaway, DRS open on 40's Ferrari. Closing in on Al's Alfa Romeo. The Big Al hangs on to the lead, only just so. These two fairly even so far, though of course 40 being helped out tremendously thanks to the DRS. Bell's going to be vulnerable here if he doesn't get within 1 second of Ford. Destiel's got all the pace right now. He's gaining time. Bell, he's not within a second. He's got no DRS. He's dumping the battery, basically forcing the car to get within that 1 second range, and Highcunt's made a mistake. That's at turn 8. Turn 9, sorry. Around the final corner of turn 17, back onto the main straightaway. Big Al maintains his lead, 6/10. And it seems that Ryan Bell still doesn't have DRS. You're joking. No DRS for the AlphaTauri driver, and here comes Leo on Darren. No battery left in the Red Bull. He's spent it all. So Destiel's going to close in tremendously down this next straight. Going to be challenging Ryan Bell. Maybe not here into turn 4 as Highcut has retired from the session as well. We're now down to 14 machines left on the racetrack. It means that Jinbin will be getting a couple of points. It'll be better than nothing, I can tell you. So long as he finishes, of course. And maybe, just maybe, if he gets a safety car, that'll help him out even more. Through the S's we go. Bell's done an awesome job to get back within that 1 second range. He's got DRS, and Darren's got a 3 second time penalty. Into turn 12. Up towards turn 13, the hairpin, 4th gear. Nice and steady on the accelerator. Maybe a little bit of understeer out to the hairpin there for Bell. You can tell as Destiel closes in. Down the main straightaway we go. DRS open on Ford, Bell's and Destiel's cars. But Destiel's got the pace. A little bit of battery to spend as well. What does Bell do? Defends the inside. Goes deep. Too deep. Destiel draws alongside. They're side by side through 2. Or they're making contact through 3. Now a drag race towards 4. Destiel's got the straight line performance. But Bell has the inside line heading towards the left-hander. Bell sends it in. It's tight. They're right on the white line through turn 5. Destiel gives just enough room. Bell gets traction around turn 6. Bell again gets traction on the exit. He gets in front of the Haas. And you could hear there briefly Destiel lifted off to let Bell through. You do not want to go side by side through the S's. But this leaves Bell incredibly vulnerable now. He will not be getting DRS anytime soon off GeForce Ford. He is way too far behind. T-Mac getting a penalty as well. Again, just getting a little bit of extra understeer at turn 13. Destiel's able to get a lot more rotation at that particular corner, really opening up turn 14. He carries more speed out of the arena section. There's the two leaders. Here comes Bell and Destiel. And Bell's going to be a sitting duck, surely. DRS wide open on the Haas, looking to the inside. Dives it in, and there's nothing Bell can do. He fought contact between the two cars at turn 2. And a wiggle from Destiel. Bell's trying to counter. A bit of lag. Oh, some more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There was some lag there. Destiel teleporting from the side of Bell's car back in front of the AlphaTauri. Destiel will take P3 then, it seems. Some lag there, not helping Bell out whatsoever. Oh, and he's losing time. Maybe that contact gave him a little bit of damage. That's entirely possible. His front wing looks okay. But there is such a thing where, from the spectator point of view, as Seb PTR gives himself a 3-second time penalty. From the spectator's point of view, you can't pick up on the little bits of damage that the front wing has. Leo hasn't really closed in though, so maybe Bell is okay with that front wing. Maybe. I suppose only time will tell. Bit of DRS assistance as well. As Bell closes in down the main straightaway towards turn 1. Not by enough though to attack Destiel. There's the 2 leaders. Big Al from Ford. Still half a second separating those two. Down towards turn 4. Bell close. Not quite close enough. You know what, I think from Bell's point of view, really not too much he can do. We'll see how much pace he's got here through the middle sector. See Destiel pulling away through turn 7, 8, round 9, into 10. Big lift there through 12. Yeah, the gap's opened up considerably. So Bell losing time through the middle sector. He'll gain that time back on the straights, but it means that he'll never get close enough to attack Destiel unless he makes a mistake. And that gap has shrunk. That gap used to be 2 seconds between Destiel and Ford. It's now 1.5. Plenty of battery on 40's Ferrari. Big Al just has enough. 20% next to his name. And towards turn 1. 40 not doing anything just yet. Through the chicane. Back onto the straightaway towards turn 4. 40 close. We're not going for the move. I think 40's just trying to play a nice patient game. Try and let the laps tick over. We are getting close to the pit window. Hards can do up to 28 laps, so you've got a lot of flexibility when it comes to strategy. You can see Jimbin's already pitted onto the mediums. He must have got damage earlier. He's pitted onto the medium compound tyre. Get a final look at position change before we switch it over to the tyre graphic in preparation for the upcoming pit stops. Big Al's still maintaining a lead, up 4 positions from where he started. G-Force Ford up 1. Destiel may say down 1, but he's recovered well after the start. He was as far down as 9th. He's back up to 3rd and 1.3 seconds away from the top 2. Ryan Bell keeping up with Destiel. He's made up 3 spots. Similar story with G-Force Leo, who is right on the precipice of losing DRS. Speaking of pit stops, Crichton's in for a set of medium compound tyres. Pitting early, quite early, at the halfway mark. See if it pays off for him. But I think, if I recall correctly from the Elite Series race, the undercut doesn't really work as 40 overtakes Big Al. That's for the race lead. One really important thing with undercutting now is that you go back out on track on cold tyres. You've got no grip. So you need to get a move on to make sure your tyres are nice and warm and you're able to set a competitive outlap. That's really, really, really important. But yeah, to wrap up the position changes, Darren 11 down 2, Spicy down 6, PTR down 2, Ferrari Pros made up 8, Plebs, T-Mac and Bags Dell made up 3 each, Crichton now down 4, same with Jimbin in 14th. There's the tyre graphic. This will become very important in these upcoming laps. One driver's already blinked and we got another 40s in. Big Al stays out, Destiel stays out, Bell stays out, Leo's in, Darren's in, Spicy stays out. Same with Seb. So the two Sebs staying out. Ferrari Pro staying out too. He doesn't want to double stack behind his teammate. Now 40 will come out behind T-Mac. Should come out in front of Bags Liddell though, and does. So he's in pretty clear air. He's got a license to push, and he does need to push. He needs to make sure those tyres are nice and warm as soon as possible. Out towards turn 1. Leo's in front of Bags. Darren 11 behind his teammates. I'm sure Bags will probably let him through here, or at least as soon as possible. Doesn't want to hold up his teammate. A bit of weaving there, and there we go. Bags just doing a very nice thing there, just letting his teammate through. Bags just running his own race. He'd be hoping to finish more than anything. Top 2 now separated by 4.5 tenths. Destiel has closed in quite a bit. They head around turn 16. Around the final corner, turn 17. Back on to the main straight. Top 3 stay out. They're running along on the hard tyre. And I can't help but feel these PC guys are on the right strategy. I think the PlayStation guys are pitted too soon. But we'll wait and see. We will wait and see. Down towards turn 4 now. DRS open on Destiel's car. Closing in as Crichton sets a new fastest lap, 17.9. So there's Crichton's sort of message to everyone else. He's got pace on the tyre. But how much did that outlap cost him? That's the key. He's got pace now after 2 laps on the tyre. How long did it take him to get him up to temperature, and how much time did he lose in that period where he had cold tyres? Down towards turn 12. Big Al maintaining the lead. Destiel maintaining second. Bell maintaining third. Around turn 16. Do any of them pit? Al's in. Destiel moves in. Bell stays out for another. Keep an eye on Ford in the Ferrari. He's making his way around the penultimate corner. No, wait, sorry, that's Ferrari Pro, isn't it? Yes, it is. My bad. Now he's making his way around the penultimate corner. Leo, 3-second time penalty. 40 will get some DRS assistance here thanks to T-Mac. T-Mac's covering him off hard. There is Big Al, so this has worked. This has worked for Ford. He is in front of Big Al by a decent enough margin. Well, we'll see later, ACW. It's a fair point to make though. Pit lane rules apply here in Race Spec. You need to follow them accordingly. If they are not followed, you will be penalised. Wait and see. So yeah, no, that undercut has worked out for 40. I had a gut feeling it really wasn't going to work, but seems that it's done all right. Destiel. In front of him is Big Al. Behind him is GeForce Leo and Darren 11. Interval isn't quite working between those two just yet. Darren gets a 3-second time penalty. So Bell, on current numbers, is going to get hit hard here. Or T-Mac lets through his teammate. Oh, he lets Destiel sort of through. It's tight. Destiel will lose time. Through goes Leo as well. I think T-Mac's trying to pit in. Oh, well, he's going to stay out another lap now. Darren blocked his entry. So Bell, where does he come out? He's coming out now. There goes Big Al. Here comes Destiel, who was held up by the Alfa Romeo of T-Mac. Ford gets in front of Plebs. There's some squabbling behind. Here comes Darren 11 down the inside. At turn 1, it's tight between the two drivers, but Leo will hang on to the position. He hangs on to P8. Bell now under pressure. He's got cold tyres. Destiel does not. Oh, he's on the grass, contact and into the wall. You're kidding. What unnecessary driving there. My goodness me. Oh, and he backs off. More hitting, more bumping and barging. Oh my goodness me. Destiel trying to force it on the grass. Bell trying to keep the door shut. And then that happens. Yeah, big shunt down the straightaway after turn 3 between Bell and Destiel. Destiel has now got a completely destroyed front wing. My goodness. Spicy's in. Be pitting onto a set of medium compound tyres. He was all over the grass, Destiel. Bell trying to keep the door shut. Destiel trying to force the door open. Bell was having none of it. Destiel wasn't moving either. And as a result, they were both put into the wall. And Bell came in, so he might have got damage from that. That would suck, but yeah, both drivers now taken out of contention. Oof. So now it's a duel between Ford and Al. These two have been leading the way throughout the entirety of this race. Fordy's pulled off a nice strategy. He's now got 2 seconds in hand, but he's got 2 lap older medium compound tyres. It's going to get interesting, I reckon, between the top two. Especially if Fordy's tyres really start to drop off by the end. We'll have to see how those tyres fare in a few laps' time. Yeah, with all that happening, it seems that the field has probably spread out now. No one's really in any sort of position to attack one another, except for maybe Spicy and Ferrari Pro. Although ultimately won't mean much, as Big Al sets a new fastest lap, 17.584, and he's closed the gap to his rival to 1.5 seconds. Al has got pace. We know 40, he's no slouch either, so it's going to be an interesting duel between the top two, I think. Seb, meanwhile, still leading the way, yet to pit on 22 lap old hards. Closing in down the main straightaway, Ferrari Pro looking towards turn 1. Can't find a way by just yet. I have a feeling he did get damage, Kebab. I would check the race director. The last time I did that, yeah, it kind of glitched out, so I'm not going to. But yeah, because he pitted earlier and moved on to some new medium tyres, and then he pitted again. So I would only assume that he damaged his front wing. I mean, he went nose first into the wall. Destiel's front wing completely destroyed itself thanks to the rear tyre of Bell and, of course, the concrete wall on the left. So I'm guessing Bell did get some sort of damage from that. So, yeah, both drivers are now out of contention for the race win, unless, of course, we have a safety car. So, but I did notice Bell's front wing looked okay, but he might have got this sort of phantom damage where it's sort of lime green on the wing, and even lime green can drastically affect how much downforce the wing actually produces. Like, you get bucket loads of understeer with a lime green wing. You need it to be completely fine in order to drive the car optimally and quickly. Without it, you are so much slower. Yeah, absolutely. It is awful. And it's really bad around racetracks like Monaco, where the walls are so close. So, yeah, there we go. Very next one. Yep. Monaco, it's shocking. As Ferrari Pro moves through into P7. So, alright, leaders. This is where we need to look. This is all going to boil up to a juicy fight. Well, that's what I'm hoping this is going to be. Ford versus Al. Two very quick, very capable drivers. Set and ready to go to the end of the race. PTR here, Seb, minding his own business. He's rolling the dice, hoping for a safety car, maybe even a well-timed VSC to really try and help him out. Tyres are said to go 28, 29 laps, so he's still very much within the pit window. Big Al as well. Speaking of windows, he's in the 1 second window. He is closing in on Ford. How much gamesmanship are we going to see between these two? Because it's only these two really who are fighting for the win. Big Al can play a lot of games here. Ford could play a lot of games here, and it all revolves around DRS. It's the most powerful thing around this circuit. Tyre life, of course, is going to play a factor. Ford is on 2-lap older medium compound tyres. That will have an effect. But the biggest thing of all will be track position towards the end of the race, and whether or not you can get some DRS assistance towards the end of the race to guarantee yourself the win. That does not help at all. 40, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That says first for the night, and that is a tremendous blow. It's giving Big Al another big advantage. He's got track position in terms of DRS, so that means Al can save battery. It's one of the really important things about DRS, is that you can save battery thanks to it. And now he's got a penalty advantage. Oh, he's really hoping for this to intensify, and it will continue to intensify. But there's a numbing effect, and that's the 3-second time penalty next to 40's name. That does numb the battle somewhat. Ouch. That really does numb the battle. It seems that Seb here is going to get involved in a bit. He's now 1.3 seconds ahead. Surely he'll have to pit at some point, probably at the end of this lap. He more than likely does not want to get involved in the battle between Ford and Al, so he'll pit fairly soon, I'd imagine. Bell overtaking Liddell. That was for P11. Nice aerial shot here, though. Looking down at the racetrack, you get to see the general environment around the circuit. And, you know, we criticise Codemasters a lot, and a lot of it's warranted. But you got to give it credit. When it comes to the visual aspects of a racetrack, they do get it pretty spot on. Well, it seems the PTR is going to stay out. Seb, our championship leader, continuing to soldier on as Bell gets a 3-second time penalty. Here comes Ford and Al. To the inside. Bell's made a mistake as well. Man, I'm doing a lot of roaming tonight. Oh, and Ford's overshot. Turn 1. Compromised at turn 2. PTR will take the lead whilst forcing Ford wide. It's going to be 3 wide exiting 3. It's a drag race. Al versus Ford. Alfa Romeo versus Ferrari. Oh, and Ford had to give up the position. He must have got an illegal overtake prompt. That's the only reason why he would have gave up that position. Bell, he is creeping around the circuit. He's, yeah, braking at half. Oh, and he spins. Too much throttle input there, Chief. Just need to drive it nice and steady. Don't want to overdo it. But, yeah, he's more than likely very peeved about what happened. And if I was him, I'd be very peeved as well. He goes into the pits. Gotta remember, everyone who finishes scores points, so don't retire. Just chuck on some new tyres, try and get fastest lap. Damage limitation now is your game. Doesn't help now that you're a lap down. So, best result you can get. Oh. Man. Alright. He retires. 5th retirement of the night. We're down to 13. Look, I kind of don't blame him, but, you know, a championship as tight as this, points really do matter. If you want to go for the overall crown, you need those points, even if it is a couple. Destiel sets a new fastest lap. He's closing in on T-Mac. We may have a battle on for 10th in a few moments' time. Well, it seems with that skirmish at turn 1 with these three, with Big Al, Ford and Seb, Big Al's taking the lead and he's going to try and bolt away. And Al doesn't really need to do much. He can let Ford catch up if he wants to. All that Al needs to do is not get a time penalty. That's it. And this win will be secured. Very simply. He does not have to drive over the top. He just needs to hit his marks. And he knows that. He's better than what I am. Probably 5 times as better as what I am. So he'll know. As PTR, Mr. Seb here, he is in as Bags gets a 3-second time penalty. instead of softs. I mean, why not? You've gone this long, you might as well try something. Alright. Well, laps, tyres won't be as much of a factor. We'll keep up the tyre graphic for a little bit longer. Maybe with about 3 or 4 to go, we'll switch it to the penalty graphic. That's going to be a really important talking point towards the end of the race. Or I'll switch it to it sooner if we have a safety car. Because if we have a safety car, it will change everything. Into the S's, Darren losing a little bit of time to Leo. Through the S's we go. Nice and tidy on the exit. Big Al, he's maintaining the gap. That's exactly what he needs to do. 40. His T-Max left the session again. Saw him leave a few moments earlier. Plebs giving PTR a hurry up, it seems. PTR on fresh tyres. They're still a bit cold. Even on soft tyres, you do get those cold tyre effects. And look at Plebs. He's on the back. He's going to draw alongside. He's going to get by into turn 12. So Plebs into P8. PTR down to 9th. Back up towards this, shall we? Darren close, but again, not close enough. T-Mac and Bags. Yeah, T-Mac getting overtaken. He's in AI. It's been a reoccurring theme for the poor driver. It's not been kind to him. That's for sure. Down towards turn 1. PTR to the inside here. He'll get by Plebs very easily. P8. He returns to P8. Plebs down to 9th now. And he won't be able to counter-attack. Those tyres should be nice and warm now. And with some DRS help, PTR will pull away. Yellow's out. That is Ferrari Pro spinning at the exit of turn 5. Entering turn 6. Not sure if he's done... Oh, he almost spun it again. Yeah, I'm not sure if he did that by himself or he had help. He's now down to 7th place. With some slightly warm medium compound tyres. Leo's closing in. So we might have a on-track battle for second, but time penalties, yeah, okay, we might have a genuine battle for second. Ford versus Leo. Darren 11 isn't too far behind. If only Darren didn't have 6 seconds worth of penalties. Probably make his job quite a lot easier, battling for a podium spot. PTR sets a new fastest lap. 1 minute 16.666. How devilishly awesome is that lap time? Through turn 4 into 5. Leo chipping away at the gap. He's got good pace underneath him. Does he have a tyre advantage? No. Just got good pace right now, Leo. Same with Darren. Darren's got good pace himself. 40 pulls away a smidgen through this middle sector. So it suggests to me that Leo has got some really nice straight line speed in the Red Bull. Around the hairpin. And into the chicane of 14-15. And around the final 2 corners, 16-17. No DRS available just yet for Leo. We got 5 laps to go here at Hermanos Rodríguez. What do these final 5 laps have in store for us? Only 13 drivers left. Has been a race of attrition. Genbin gets a time penalty, but he won't mind that. He'll get points. As I said earlier, it's better than nothing. Nice run out of turn 5 from all 3 of those drivers. Fairly even in terms of pace. You can see Leo, he's within a second now, but through this section, he should lose time. 9.5 tenths, a second. Just over a second into turn 10 and around 11. So yeah, 40 must be carrying slightly taller wings. He's producing more downforce through that sector. Ferrari Pro gets a time penalty for multiple warnings. There's Big Al still leading the way. Doing a great job out in front. Back onto the main straightaway now. It's 4 laps to go here in Mexico City. And this time, Leo's got some DRS assistance. He'll like that a lot. Down towards turn 1 though. He's got no battery. He spent it all. In his eagerness to catch up, he has spent all of his battery. So he won't have that to help him out. 40, he's not much better in terms of battery. And Darren 11, similar story. They're all low. Everyone, I think, is low. Around turn 5, up towards 6. Leo closing in. 40 looking ever more vulnerable. Through the S's. Round turn 8, into 9. Round turn 10. 40 gets another pen. That really doesn't help. He now has 6 next to his name. Leo has 3. So long as Leo keeps it within the white lines, he should take second now. And 40 can't get too complacent because Darren 11 is behind. He's on 6 seconds as well. 3 laps to go from the leader. Down the main straightaway towards turn 1. DRS wide open on the Red Bull. Closing in tremendously into turn 1, but not by enough to attack Ford. Coming out. Oh, well, there's another time penalty that should ease the pressure a little bit for Ford. He needs to hope, though, that Leo gets a time penalty. So this fight for second becomes genuine again, and not down to penalties. Around turn 6. Leo's got good car speed. Got a cool head at the moment. Bit of understeer though. Little bit at turn 7. Probably some of the work from the aging tyres. A bit of a moment there through turn 11 too. Had a slight bit of oversteer at the apex of turn 11. You could hear it in the accelerator, where the rear tyres temporarily lost grip. Around the final 2 corners and back onto the main straight. 40's doing all he can to try and hang on to P2 on track. He's praying to the gods that his compatriot gets one more penalty. Make the fight even again. Leo just needs to keep his head screwed on and not cut the track or run wide. That's all he needs to do. Through the chicane. Out of turn 3. DRS open. Down towards turn 4. Leo nowhere near close enough to battle just yet. He'll stay behind, apply pressure to the Ferrari in front, try and create a mistake perhaps, find a way through. Just needs to remain calm though. That should be his main objective. Stay calm, keep the car within the white lines, keep the car on the black stuff. Don't want it on the green stuff. Leo losing a bit of time. Again, he won't mind. Around the hairpin, turn 13, 4th gear on the exit. Through 14 into 15. Round 16. And around turn 17. Big Al begins the final lap. Lap 36 of 36. Leo will only have a couple more opportunities to try and pass his G-Force compatriot. But I think his main goal now is to just get the car home. But what redemption this will turn out to be for Big Al. Al has put together several superb performances. Best result so far is 4th, and that shouldn't be his best result. He has performed way better than what the results have shown so far. He was robbed of a potential victory at Barcelona thanks to a disconnect. He was taken out for the fight for the front over at Portugal with an incident with Destiel, and he had another incident with him again through the arena section during the sprint, but he's recovered well. He hasn't put a single foot wrong over the course of this Grand Prix. And his efforts are going to be rewarded. Around the final 2 corners for the final time for Big Al. Al will win the Mexican Grand Prix. What a performance. Ford will cross the line in second. He will not keep it though. It'll be G-Force Leo who finishes in P2, Ford P3, Darren 11 P4. Crichton will cross the line with a 360 in 5th. He'll be overtaken though by Spicy. Crichton down to P6 in the final results. Ferrari Pro will finish in P8 as PTR Seb, our championship leader, will finish in P7. Ferrari Pro, pretty happy with P8 I would think. Destiel P9, some question marks over the Haas driver's head for sure. Plevs rounds out the 10. Bags Liddell, P11 for him. And a frustration smash right at the end of the race there. Out of fuel is Jin Ben, but it's P12 for him. As T-Max AI will finish in 13th. I think T-Mac will be classified in the final results. I do think he will be. Driver of the day given to Ferrari Pro for his efforts. We'll see them in the final results screen. But for now, it's the podium celebrations. Redemption Day for Big Al. A fine performance indeed here in Mexico. That will be our Mexican Grand Prix winner. P2 goes to G-Force Leo. He may take the lead in the Drivers' Championship. Might have to do a little bit of math in regards to that. And completing the podium places, our defending champion, G-Force Ford. So, the unofficial results of the Mexican Grand Prix. Big Al is our race winner. G-Force Leo comes home in second with 40 home in third. Darren 11 in P4. Rounding out the top 5 is Spicy in 5th. Crichton P6. PTR in 7th with fastest lap. Ferrari Pro 8th from 17th on the grid. That's a fine recovery indeed to finish inside the top 10. Again, question marks next to Destiel's name after this race here in Mexico tonight. Plevs P10, Jim Bin 11th, followed by Bags Liddell in 12th. T-Max AI across the line in 13th. I think he will be scored for 13th. Then DNFs, Ryan Bell, High Cut, Bait, Vision, and Huey, who crashed out on the very opening lap. A race full of drama, full of controversy, and a first-time winner in the Pacific Tier 1 Championship. Well done, Big Al. What a performance. Now, I'll invite Leo and Ford into the party. We'll have a chat about what happened over the course of this very, very long race. I'll be back in a few moments. Okay, those two will join in a bit. With PlayStation, it does take a little while for the voices to properly load up, so this will take just a little while. Finally, I can turn down that theme music as well, ready for the interviews, because that theme music gets pretty old pretty fast, I'm not gonna lie. We'll get to the virtual showroom. Yeah. 40 just having a bit of trouble connecting, don't worry. Get it sorted in just a bit. Have it on Big Al's car. Do, 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 do. Hopefully it won't take too long. Hello, Leo.
Hello, guys.
Hello, hello. Just waiting on 40's voice to join in accordingly. It's been a thing with the PS5 where it can take a little while for the voices to properly sync up.
Yeah, I can hear him.
Yeah, he's just not properly syncing up to me, is all. For some reason, yeah, it's weird. Don't know why. It's just a thing that happens. But how are you, Leo? I imagine you're pretty happy after P2 finishing the main race.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy, considering how it started.
Yeah, it was, I think, an interesting event all around for all of us, I think, in Tier 1. But tell you what, while 40's off doing that, I might as well talk to you about this whole thing. This was a long one, wasn't it, Leo?
Yeah.
This took a while to get through. But if you can remember for me, qualifying, how was that for you, first off?
Oh, it was so long ago.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know. It was fine. I mean, I was in like P12 or something the whole time, and I think the whole season I've been having like FPS glitches in qualifying, and just had really low FPS, and I stopped streaming for the second race, and the FPS went up again. So
Okay.
it probably was stream, but it's been really hampering me in qualifying mainly. It's just one of my excuses. You got to have a few. But it was pretty good. I got an okay lap in the end.
Fair enough. Do you remember where you qualified? I don't have the results.
I think it was third.
Third. Not a bad effort then. Not bad at all. But no, heading into the sprint though, everyone started on the same tyre. Everyone was on the mediums. There was no surprises in that. So what was your game? Send it and see where you finish?
Yeah, I sent it and then I got spun. I don't know how that happened, but I had to look at the footage. And there, yeah, I don't know, just did a good race for the second half, and got back to like P, I can't remember, P like 10 or something.
Sounds about right, yeah. Can quickly squiz at the Discord. I remember somebody saved the results in the Discord. But yeah, it probably wasn't the most ideal of sprints, I'd say, on your end. You definitely recovered well. You finished P8, that's right. You didn't have any time penalties at the end of the sprint, so you vaulted up massively at the end of the sprint. I think you were down in like 12th or 13th or something like that before that point, but because everyone in front of you had time penalties, you jumped big time. So yeah, P8 start for the main race. And initially, like a lot of people, wanted to start on the hard compound tyre. Then we had a lobby resets. Those are really annoying, aren't they? It really takes you out of the groove of the racetrack.
Yeah, it's annoying. I mean, this game is just a joke. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't know how they can have so many glitches like this, but it's alright.
Yeah, I know, man. I get you. But you remember to put a setup on? That was the main thing. You've got a setup on your car.
I've messed it up many times, so...
So have I. I have learnt many times during lobby resets, put a setup on, because default is not fast at all.
Yeah.
But main race, a bit more fresh in the memory. How was it for you, starting from P8?
I mean, I think I just kind of chilled out and just like let everyone crash into each other.
Yep.
That's really what I did. I overtook a few people, and then everyone was just being really aggressive. I don't know why. And then there was a big crash between Ryan and Destil, or what his name is.
Destil, yeah.
Did you see that?
I did. I was on board with Destil at the time.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what's going on there.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just caught up to 40, then he got a time penalty, so I just sat behind him, and that was it.
He kept it pretty tidy. Only 3 seconds worth of time penalties. You must be pretty happy with that too.
Yeah, yep, it was pretty good for Mexico.
Yeah, absolutely. For Mexico, that's right. Out of all the racetracks on the calendar, this is definitely one of the hardest when it comes to time penalties. But yeah, no, a P2 finish at the end of this one. I think you might take the lead in the championship. Maybe. Oh, hang on, I'll have a quick squiz. Yeah, you should. You're only 9 points behind Seb. I think Seb finished P7, somewhere like that. So I think you should take the lead into the next round. Just so you know. So no, that's a big boost.
It's my first time leading, so it's... Oh no, I lead in the first race.
After the first race, naturally. Yeah. But I get what you mean. Like, we're entering towards the mid-phase of the season, and now you're going to be leading the championship. So no, that's big for you, for sure. But one final tidbit for you. Next round, we're heading over to Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix. How do you feel heading into next week's race?
Yeah, I like the track. I think it's a lot better than this track. This track, the curbs are all horrible, and it's so hard to not get penalties, and it's just a horrible track. Yep. But I actually like Hungaroring, so I think we'll do good there.
Look, man, I think a lot of race circuits are probably better than this one, eh? Yeah. There's quite a few terrible circuits on the calendar. This is definitely one of them. So, but man, congratulations on your performance tonight. P2 after probably a fairly topsy-turvy race, let's say, particularly in the beginning for you. But you recovered well, so very well done.
Yeah, thank you.
But you there, Mr. Ford?
Yes, I can hear you now, though.
Hello. Hang on, I'll quickly turn you up.
Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you, I can hear you, I can hear you. I'll just quickly turn you up. You are a tad bit quiet for me, but that's okay. One of the great things about the PS5, you can turn up volume individually. It's very nice, I like it. But you should be all good when it comes to audio, shouldn't you? When it comes to audio sharing? Should be alright.
Yeah, no, mine should be, sorted. I'll just make sure.
That's all good. Quickly check on the stream.
Voice chat settings.
Yeah, you're coming through.
Good.
You're coming through. It's all good.
Sweet.
P3 at the end of that. Probably not what you were looking for, I'd imagine.
Yeah, a bit frustrating, a little bit for sure. I think that first penalty I got just kind of topped it off.
Mellowed it out for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I was saying that on the stream as well. Because I think there was something interesting developing between you two heading towards the end. But the penalty didn't help, and what happened with PTR probably didn't help either. We'll touch on...
Oh, mate, don't get me started there. That's...
We'll touch base. We'll touch base on that a bit later. We'll revert back, shall we? Qualifying.
Yeah.
How was it?
I think I did a 15 flat, which was pretty good. It was quicker than last season, I think, for me. I think my PB was only like a 14.9, but 15 flat, I was happy with it. Front row, I guess. You still had a sprint race and a full race to go, so it was a positive starter, you could say.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, you always like a front row start. Maybe not here at Mexico, though, because all you're doing is punching ahead for the guys behind to get by you into turn one.
Absolutely, yeah.
But how was it, the start?
The start was, I don't know what those PC guys have going for them, but it's impossible to just match them on the start. There's nothing you can do. Yeah, especially Big L, especially, man, he's gone by the time it's turn one.
He got together two pretty decent starts back to back.
Yeah, they're still I can sort of match, but yeah, they're still definitely a lot better than me, Adam. But yeah, if you can just kind of sit with their DRS, which I was able to stay with them, they had pretty good pace, and then they made contact. But turn one in the sprint race. So I feel I got squeezed a little bit on the apex there, but I did well to avoid, any damage. And then I think I might have squeezed Leo at turn two. I think that might have been my fault. You can confirm with that, Leo, if you like, after you check it. But I think it was too late before I'd already gone to the apex. But yeah.
But P3 finish at the end of that sprint. Happy enough with that, at the very least?
It's enough, exactly as you said. The main race was still to come.
And speaking of which, like, the sprint was a bit fuzzy because we had that intervention that really held us back. And I was talking to Leo about it. It is really annoying when you have that intervention, isn't it? Because it just takes you out of the groove.
Absolutely. Yep, for sure.
So
yep.
Everyone was a bit cold heading into the race, and in comes you. You start on the hot tire like everybody else. You centered down the middle at turn 1.
Yeah, I was messing about, man.
Went
if
for
they're
it.
getting better starts there, I gotta make up with it somehow. So yeah.
Brake later into turn 1.
I think I missed my braking point a little bit. It might have, moved Destio a little bit wide, but yeah, it's racing, I suppose. So I don't think there was anything wrong at the end of the day. It was just it could have gone a lot worse, I think.
Well, there wasn't any contact, was there?
Yeah.
So I don't think you could be issued anything. It's just after that move, Destiel basically got swamped because he was compromised through the rest of the bit.
Went backwards, yeah.
He came back forwards though, back up towards the front. Meanwhile, you were just with Big Al throughout pretty much the entirety of the opening stint. Was it just a nice conservative approach from you, not pushing too hard, just trying to gather yourself up?
I honestly felt like I was quicker everywhere on the track than him, except the final sector.
Okay.
I just didn't have the traction that he had out of the stadium section and out onto the straight. I'd be after the S's, probably 5 or 6 tenths behind him, and then outside of the stadium section, 8 or 9 tenths. So I'd lose 3 tenths in that final sector, and there was nothing I could do about it. So it never really set me up for a good run on the straight. So I kind of just had to sit there really, just save battery.
Yeah. But eventually you did get by just before the pit stop period. I think you got him at turn 1.
Sent it then, used a bit of battery, yeah, for sure. I pretty much drained my whole 40% battery, I think it was, down the straight there to get it. Oh, that might have been the sprint, I'm not sure. Either way, I used all the battery to get there.
You got by, yeah. I remember you getting by.
Then obviously undercut. Undercut definitely worked.
I didn't think it was. I had a gut feeling it wasn't going to work. Those mediums got up to temp pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had a look at last season's, and I think Zach went for an undercut on me, but last season I was like 6 seconds in front. It was 4 seconds by the time I came out. So I thought, okay, well, undercut definitely works. Did it tonight and gave me that 2.5 second gap.
Doing your research, I like it. Looking back, picking up some stuff, I like it. Yeah, I didn't pick up. I had a gut feeling that the overcut would probably work better. I guess it was all dependent on how quickly the mediums got up to temperature. And one of the things that failed against my theory was that on Crichton's second lap, he ended up setting the fastest lap of the race, so his tyres were ready, and he undercut everybody. He pitted earlier than anyone. Yeah. So the undercut definitely worked in your favour. Gave yourself a gap. But Big Al had pace. He had slightly fresher tyres, which helped a little bit, but he had decent pace. He started to catch up. And the time penalty, you mentioned it earlier.
Mate, I don't. Yeah, I was wide apparently through the last corner of the S's. I haven't had a look back on it yet, but it was just one of those moments where you don't feel like you went wide. But obviously you must have. Little lapse in concentration potentially, but yeah, it was just frustrating because could have been a pretty good end to the race. Although I still think he had pretty good pace there.
But eventually Big Al catches up to you. You're second and third at the time because the leader's PTR, and you eventually cross paths at the chicane complex of 1, 2, 3. And you were trying to get by. PTR fights back, though. You were a bit surprised by that?
I was very surprised, and not only was it fighting back, he didn't make turn 3's corner. He went wide through there, and I was on the outside of him, so I was left with nothing really. And as you do, you race hard, and I kept my foot through it, got in front, and then had the
illegal overtake problem.
And I was just like, I'm not gonna put up with getting to 5 seconds. I'll just let it go. But yeah, mate, I honestly feel like I've had a bit of tough luck recently, especially last race as well at Portimao, leading 1.5 seconds, and then everything just goes wrong from there.
Yeah.
You get disconnected and your car drives off the track. It's like,
that was something
from Byron doing there. But yeah, definitely tonight that 3 second hurt, and the next 3 second after that. But it's just moments like that where, you know, if that didn't happen, maybe I wouldn't have got that next 3 seconds. I would have been a bit more focused. But yeah, after that, I was pretty over it, to be honest.
Fair enough. Because eventually both Leo and Darren 11 caught up, and they were within a second with only a few to go. And by that point, you got your extra 3. You had 6. And all that Leo had to do was keep the car within the white lines, and that's exactly what he did. Yeah. So you had to settle ultimately for 3rd place. I mean, it's a result, I'd say, for you. I mean,
mate, it's the best one of the season yet.
Yeah, better than nothing.
I just can't get much on my way right now, unfortunately. But I still think Big Al had good pace tonight. Leo had great pace. I don't know what. I mean, it was a shame that he was so far back in the main race because I think you'd probably be lapping around the same as Big Al towards the end there. So would have been interesting if you're up the front most of the time there. But yeah, you know, next week I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, will you be here next week, first of all?
Yeah, should be here,
should
yeah.
Be. Good to know. Hungaroring then, next week. What are your thoughts?
It's a track I don't mind, but it doesn't like me back.
Okay.
I don't know, I can never really get in the rhythm there, especially with that middle sector, but I think the only turns I really like on it, turn 1 and 2. The final sector I really don't like. But yeah. So hopefully maybe something comes out of it, but yeah, I definitely need a bit more pace for sure.
Fair enough. Well, stay optimistic. See how you fare next week, but for now, congratulations on your P3 finish here in Mexico. Well done.
Thank you, Lane. Cheers, GG Leo as well. But
And one final big mention to Big Al. Well done, mate. First win of the season. Did it in pretty solid style too. Those starts were mega, my goodness, both of them in the sprint and in the main race. Those starts were absolutely spot on. And the pace was fantastic all the way through. Got unlucky in the sprint. Destiel, Big Al coming together at the hairpin. At turn 13, sent Big Al around, recovered to 5th. Starting 5th, he got the lead into turn 1 thanks to that start. It was that good. And Battle 40 had good pace the whole way through, and no penalties as well, which is a really big thing around a track like Mexico, because that's not easy to do, especially when you're pushing as hard as these guys do. So, well done, Big Al. Congratulations on your first win of the season. Well done for winning the Mexican Grand Prix. But I think, folks, with everything said and done, it's time for us to wrap up the stream. I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for round 5 of the championship at the Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Until then, it's goodbye.